Welcome back, everybody, to my Bruder Mack Granite dump truck RC conversion. Behind it, I have the King Kong RC H6 that I got built, and this is going to be the platform it's going to ride on. Full 6x6 locked differentials. We should be able to go some places. Now, it looks like there is going to be a lot of work to this. I've been kind of poking around and looking at it. There is a ton of plastic to remove in this thing. I'm not going to leave the fenders connected to this. I'm going to cut them free. We'll build new ones or buy new ones or something. And then I'm going to have to do away with all of this stuff. And picked one of these up on Amazon. We'll get more into this when we get to that stage of the build, because I could not find an affordable way to do this. And it doesn't seem like very many people have a lot of videos on it. So when it gets to time to do the dump bed, I'm going to put a lot of time into that part of the video, which it may still be a few videos away. And I know once I get this mounted up to the front, connector might have connected back over there. There we go. There is not going to be room for that motor, so I'm going to have to remove this plastic motor and do probably quite a bit of work to this area just to make it so it'll fit over all of our electronics up there. And it looks like everything is kind of connected by like these plastic clips that you just push in. They're beveled. So I'm going to get to trying to get some of this stuff apart. And that's just where we're going to go from there. I'm going to try to get this apart, and we'll start setting stuff on the chassis, putting some wheels and tires on it and things, and just seeing if we can kind of get the basis laid out and get an idea of what we're doing. And we have arrived. And go ahead and pray to whatever God, deity, non-deity, or whatever the heck it is you believe in for help, because oh my, it took everything I had to get this thing apart without breaking something important. Which you can see all these tabs I've picked off of here. They have done an amazing job of making something that goes together without screws, that is held together better than anything I've ever dealt with before that's held together by any kind of just compression clamps. But oh my, I eventually had to get in there with different sets of cutters and screwdrivers and gnaw pieces off and pry this and that, and eventually I was able to pop off all the pieces, and it is holy smokes, that was a chore. But now that we're loose, I am going to have to do a lot of modification in here in order to be able to fit my servo motor and transmission up through here, but it can be done, and it will be done. And hopefully I'll be able to pop this hood open and store my stuff in there. On the back, I'm going to remove these fenders, and I'm probably going to end up removing this like bumper beddy they have on the back. That'll give me a little bit of extra clearance between the bottom of the dump bed and that. And okay, so I guess I just need to start with gutting part of this out and getting the cab on. Probably going to get some wheels on the front. That way I have something to align it with. And that's probably going to be our first step here. Well, I know we're kind of jumping around here, but wheels and tires came in today. These are what came in as far as tires. And these are the King Kong RC tires, which are a little bit softer, and I actually kind of like a little bit better. If they were the exact same size, I would probably use them. And I still might use a set on the front, just depends on how everything rolls out. And these babies, they are, yeah, it's pretty solid, like pucks. But that's suppose is good to hold the weight we're going to need to haul. I'm going to get all these opened up and we'll have a quick look at them. Here we are laid out, and it's pretty important to get these wheels together just so I can get my spacing right on where I'm going to mount everything. But I knew this going in when I ordered these, and because this is a 6-wheel drive and most of your dump trucks are a 4x6 and not a 6x6, they give you bearing front wheels, because just the road wheels are like that there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet to make it look right, but look at these. Those are cool looking. That'll look pretty nice on there. And we'll get our tires mounted up on that. I'm not even sure if I'm going to have to glue these. We'll have to give it a try and see. But what I might end up having to do is in the front, I'm going to have to use one of the King Kong's wheels that they have. Oh, I got one here. one of these wheels, which are black, so I'm not quite sure. I might be able to take that black ring off and actually polish it. We'll wait and see. But I'm going to get the front wheels mounted up, and I'm going to end up probably using 2 of my King Kong wheels because I don't want to use those road wheels on the front. I guess I could in order to make it just because I have them, but I wouldn't get very good grip, and I'd rather have a little bit meatier tires on the front. That's more my style. Well, we'll see how it goes. Well, here's what the King Kong RC wheels look like, and I went ahead and threw the tires, the road tires on there just to see if they'd fit, and they do. And by looks, it might look a little bit better with the road tires. I just have them laid together, but they're going to look kind of funky beside that chrome. So what I may do is, I think I'm going to have to just paint these and hope they don't turn out looking too bad. I'll paint them with silver because they're steel. At first, I was just going to see if I could buff them out, but it's kind of difficult. They might rust. Well, here's where we're at. I have the new wheels and tires on the back, and I really like the way they look. And they are really stiff. And one of the kind of interesting things is, I know it's a dump truck, but we got flex. We got a significant amount of flex. Yeah, I got my coat on. Weather went and turned cold on us again. It does that from time to time here in Ohio in the spring. And now it is time to do the front, but I did not like any of the wheel options, so I've ordered another set. They'll be in tomorrow. But regardless, I still have to get this cab mounted up on here. And in order to make that fit, I am going to have to remove this motor section. I've already popped it out of it. It has hinges here. I popped it out of those hinges. Luckily, it still goes forward and stops before it falls off. And on the bottom here, I'm just going to take my Dremel tool and cut this whole area out. And hopefully that'll be enough to set down over our motor and stuff. Then I'll have to try to figure out what to do with the electronics. One problem at a time. I'm going to get cutting on this, and I'll show you how that turned out here after I get it done. Well, I must admit, there was a lot of hack slashing involved. Chop, chop. Bruder makes one heck of a good piece of plastic. So I have it just sitting over there now. I was able to get all of this cut out, and that should give me the clearance I need. I'm going to have to make some mounts to get it mounted, and the dump bed's just sitting up there for now, just like the cab. I'll remove the motor and use that for a different project later. I just didn't like my wheel options I had going on. I needed something with 12mm hexes, so I just picked these up off of Amazon. And they should look alright. I'm going to get those bolted up and get the cab mounted up, and that's probably where we'll call it stops on this video. Got the front wheels on. Was able to use the stock hubs, so those are cool. And I found this awesome piece of aluminum, and it came off of a piece of electronics they were throwing out at work. And I think it's going to be perfect to act like a back rack and mount the cab down to. So I've got some spots marked out, and those should line up with these notches. That way it'll give me a little bit of adjustment room. So I'm going to drill the holes in the cab and get that bolted down and see what I can do about bolting this hinge piece to the front, because I still want to be able to take my cab or hood forward in order to, I'm trying to get my electronics in there, because I'm having a hard time figuring out where I'm going to put the electronics in this thing. Well, and here we go. I just have the dump bed sitting on there like previously, because there's still a lot of work to do there, but I'm going to pull that out of the way. Coat on this morning, a little bit chilly out here as I'm working. I was able to put this piece of aluminum in here, and now, I mean, this cab's, we're solid. And I think this is going to end up being a utility rack in the back too. I'm not sure 100% what everything's going back here, because I still might end up putting a toolbox and some other things in between the dump bed and the cab. But my goal was to be able to have this open up. My arm here blocking the way. And there we go. I still need to put a couple more like little sturdiers up in here to hold this, and then I'm going to do some skirting at some point to kind of block things out. But we have other accessories that are going to be coming into play. I'm not sure how we're going to mount up yet. There's a lot of stuff to do. This will end part 3 now of the Bruder RC conversion, and hopefully by the time I'm done, this thing will be a real good working machine. I think the cab sets up a little bit high, the wheel wells, but I can live with it. It's not horrible. I'd rather have a little too much room than not enough, I guess. And this is going to be a big, nasty truck, so don't mind it being lifted up a little bit. Catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for following through, and hope to see you on the next one later.